I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement, yeah. There's no replacement for persistence. It's a patience, yeah. In this life, I wanna be soaring, to feel sun inside when it's pouring, and I'll fight till anxiety is foreign. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great.
And good evening, everybody, and welcome back here for another edition of the Apex Autoglass and Tin 410 Sprint Car Championships, presented by B&B Race Simulators here on OSRN. My name is Bert Wojcik. Alongside me tonight is Drake York, and join us on the pre-race show is Sparky himself, our league president, Josh Van Mayen. I'd probably butcher your name again, Josh, whatever. We're 7 weeks, or 4 or 5 weeks into this, and I still don't know how to say your damn last name, but he's joined us here tonight, folks, and we are live here tonight at the Fairbury Speedway, one of the best bull rings in the country. Boys, we are going to get fallsy tonight.
I love this track. It doesn't get much better than the Falls. You look at late models here, fantastic. When the Outlaws come to town, they're fantastic, and you're very gets limited on your choices sometimes when you try to find a bad iRace at Fairbury, from the Outlaws or any other series. So it's going to be a great night.
It is going to be a great night, guys, and it'll be a little bit different for us this week because Fairbury is the 410 official on iRacing, so the guys won't be coming in completely cold tonight. They'll have a little bit of track experience on this one, but we all know they're fine-tuning those sets for Monday night, but we'll try and keep this thing 2 lanes tonight and make sure it doesn't become a choo-choo train around the top for sure.
Yeah, that's the main thing, is that you don't want this thing to be a choo-choo train. Like I saw it last week on the 360 side of things, around the official series or the official 360 series. It was a 1-lane choo-choo around the top. It was so hard to get that bottom side going, but when you get that bottom side going in real life, Fairbury, it is such a unique track. It looks so narrow on TV, but when you look at it, you got 2-3 lanes of racing easily on a quarter-mile track, and there's not many quarter-mile tracks in the country that can say they got 3 lanes of racing going.
You'd be hard-pressed to find any track, even big tracks, smaller tracks, micro tracks, it doesn't matter. If you can have 3 lanes of racing anywhere, something's right with the racetrack, and you're going to be in for a good show wherever that racetrack lies. And really, it's really the only one I've found so far.
Absolutely, and there's 2 of them here on the service that I think really lend itself to that, and one that I hope we get soon. Our former colleague Dan Taylor's home track at Eagle. We could use that one.
Yes.
But this track and Lima Land both can have 3 lanes of racing, and I remember when I went from my single monitor to VR. First time I got on track at Lima Land, put the VR on, and I thought, holy crap, this track is 500 miles wide. I didn't know that. I thought it was a 1-lane, this was the only place I could go, but nope, you can definitely run 3 lines of traffic. We do have extra water truck on standby. I believe the water truck will make an appearance right before the feature tonight. But we're definitely going to try and get those 3 lines. I think by the end, especially with some of these guys that we have that specialize in late models, Evan Save, Blake Majulis, Dylan Yeager, guys like that, I think they're going to be really pounding the bottom to make it work. I think you're going to have guys that are too scared of the wall that want to run the marbles in the middle. And then you're going to have the guys that are selling out for the win. Hayden Cardwell, Alex Bergeron are the two that come to my mind that'll be running right up there against the wall, trying not to get sucked in.
Well, as you look at the screen on your screen here, you look at your past winners. Tyler Schell has won 2 of the last 3. And the other odd or even number race we've had here, the only other even number race here, was Alex Bergeron. So, according to stats, Alex Bergeron is due for a win. But if we go back to last week's results, we were at Cedar Lake, Bergeron's bad luck continued, where he had to come from deep in the field again and make his way up. He finished up in the 4th spot, but he had to work his way back through the field there. But it was Hayden Cardwell coming up there and getting his win up at Cedar Lake last week over James Eaton and Timothy Smith, and I was thrilled with Cedar Lake last week. Drake, you and I, we had a lot of fun there, and I think Hayden Cardwell, he really kind of shocked a lot of people. We were expecting Tyler Schell or maybe Blake Majulis. He had a good start to the race there, or Bergeron making their way up, but Hayden Cardwell, I think, surprised a lot of people getting a win there last week.
You summed it up there perfectly. Hayden just ran a great race, and like what Sparky was talking about earlier, you'll see people sell out on the fence, and I guess we kind of expected that heading into Cedar Lake just because of the nature of that racetrack. But Cardwell, on the edge of disaster, was just silky smooth and got out front fairly early. But you talked about Bergeron and kind of just the costly mistakes that have haunted him the last few weeks. Well, he got into a few accidents early. Lap 1 in turn 3 comes to mind, and got into a few other smaller accidents. Some way, somehow, charged back to 4th, and we were talking through most of that race. Man, Tyler Schell's going to get some serious points out of this one, pull away from Bergeron, and then you blink and you miss him, basically, and Bergeron was charging towards the front, past Schell like he was standing still, and maybe with the yellow could have made a run for the win. So Alex Bergeron, you see here, winner back here in Season 2, he's for a win, like you said, Bert.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh, we were talking a little bit about here is, the points battle, it ain't over. We were thinking the way it was playing out here was Schell's starting to run away with this, with how, Bergeron's been kind of checkers or records the last couple weeks. But last week, Bergeron really kind of turned around and had a really good points night to be within only, let me pull up the points here real quick. He's only within, I believe, a race or two of Tyler Schell. Yeah, he's only about less than 100 points back of Tyler Schell, so it's still doable.
Yeah, it's definitely doable, and we give, sorry, Drake, and we do award quite a few points in this series for feature wins. You know, that you can gain upwards of 60 points. So you look at that right now, and you look at it's about an 80-point spread, 90-point spread. But in all actuality, that's a race. You know, that's one race. We have 3 weeks left. Anything can happen. 2 of our 3 tracks are 2 of the trickiest tracks on the sim that are left. That's this week in Fairbury and next week with Weedsport. But I do like, and this is our current points as it sits right now. There's one more adjustment that'll come from, sorry about if you heard that. I think our school is canceling for tomorrow as we have a snowstorm moving in. But we have several different battles throughout the points. And let me remind you, the top 5 all will walk away with some money from this. But, you know, you look at, Tyler Schell and Alex Bergeron have pretty much separated themselves for the top spot. Then you have Logan Rumsey, Aiden Beerline for that 3rd spot, which I believe 3rd spot wins $100. So that now I think 3rd is going to be $200. 4th is going to be $100. So there's a $100 difference right there, separated by 6 points. And then you got Evan Say, Blake Majulis, James Edens all within shouting distance. And then the last 3. And then I didn't put him on here, but I am gonna prop him up because he's one of my team members. But Austin Drucke sits right down here in 11th spot at 272 points. So, you know, one good race from him tonight, which honestly, Drucke has been the model of consistency. He's been, you know, he's not a pro license holder. He's very, very good. But he's been the guy that's just done enough. He's done enough in the heats or the consies to get in. And then he's bought his time. He's stayed patient in the features. He's stayed out of wrecks. And more often than not, he's found himself close to the top 5 by the end of the night.
Yeah, absolutely. Drucke has been towards the top 5 almost every single race we've been able to call here since we've taken over the broadcast. And he's one of those guys, as you said, not a pro license holder, but consistency. That's what wins you the championship. And that's where Tyler Schell, and we'll go back at the top of the point tiers, that's what Tyler Schell is holding on to his points lead by, his consistency, because he's been so much more consistent than what Bergeron has been. And, you know, if that keeps up, Tyler Schell has a good chance to continue on with this points lead. But it all depends, as you said, Josh, what does Fairbury hold and what does Weedsport hold? We go into 2 of the trickiest tracks that are on the service here next couple weeks here. That's going to be very, very interesting to how this points battle plays out, Drake.
Yeah, and you talk about Tyler Schell, just the model of consistency. And I go back to Cedar Lake, and, you know, we always talk about, no matter what the series is, the champions usually win their championships by making the best out of their worst nights. I wouldn't call Cedar Lake a bad race for Tyler Schell by any means, but he was very quiet. Not the Tyler Schell that we've been accustomed to these past few weeks, always in the hunt for the win, making slide jobs, you know, crossing under people, just really putting himself in, you know, some risky spots while still maintaining control of that 85 machine. And Cedar Lake was just kind of a race where he was there, I guess you'd call it. He was in the top 5, he was contending. He didn't really have the speed to make something crazy happen. And where you see a lot of people, you know, especially when you're Tyler Schell and the caliber of driver that he is, that's used to winning, used to being at the front no matter what series or lobby he hops into, he just kind of stayed there. He didn't make any crazy moves that put him in really bad spots and maybe jeopardize the championship lead. Obviously lost points to Bergeron, but I was just really impressed with Tyler Schell last week, just remaining calm, realizing he had a top 5 car and running top 5. That's sometimes what you have to do to win these championships. Absolutely,
that's all it takes. Well, folks, we're going to get into our pre-race interview coming up here right now, and he is one of our sponsors of the Apex Autoglass and Tin 410 Sprint Car Championship, presented by B&B Race Simulators. He is the owner of B&B Dirt Racing Simulators. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brian Bellitz. I think I said that right, Brian. Is it Bellitz?
It's pronounced Baylitz, but that's close.
Baylitz, whatever. I'm just going off the pronunciation. Sparky didn't give me any information on that. He just told me. He just told me what, you know, hey, for the interview, this guy, go have at it. So blame,
that's right.
Blame Sparky. Hey, how you doing, bud? Welcome to the Fairbury show.
Yeah, doing good.
Absolutely. So, tell us a little bit about B&B Dirt Race Simulators and how you got started with that.
Well, we were sitting around the campfire one night, and I just happened to come across an ad for a simulator, and I thought, well, we could probably put a couple of those in a trailer. And about 6 to 8 months later, we had it done, and just been hitting some of the smaller tracks around where we live. We're from eastern Iowa.
He dropped. Wonder what happened there.
Awesome. Then
Okay, I think we got him. I think he's stable again. Sorry. Nope.
Spoke too soon.
Way to go. It's all live, folks. Live television is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna do this. Okay, I changed him to an admin. That should help.
Happens to the best of us. We'll try to get
All
Brian
right.
back in here.
All right.
Nope.
Nope.
Here, I'm gonna do this. I don't know, Joe. Can we just hop down into the channel where he's at? Okay.
All right. 1 second, folks. We're gonna slide.
We're coming to you, Brian.
All right. Let's give this a shot now. I think we're here.
Yeah, you guys got me?
Yeah. So hopefully we're still on the air here. Anyways, yes. So we were saying that now you create these simulators, and you just throw them in the back of your trailer and just take them wherever you can go all over Iowa, basically.
Yeah, we pretty much hit Iowa, Wisconsin, a little bit of Illinois, probably venture into Missouri this year a little bit.
But let's not
Brian,
skip over the fact you say we just throw these simulators. Let's not skip over the fact that these aren't just Thrustmaster T150s on a single 20-inch monitor. This is full motion rig with VR. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah. So we got these things out of the Ukraine. It's the DOF brand, but we knew when we got them here, we were going to do some chopping on them, and we've done quite a bit of fabrication to them. So we've made them work pretty decent for us.
you talk about kind of sitting around the campfire a while ago, thinking of, maybe putting these sim rigs together. Was that really the first conversation you had about maybe doing something like this, or was this something maybe well thought out, maybe years before that you maybe kept to yourself and then finally let out and then led to this?
Well, back in the day, you used to be able to find these simulators all over, and it kind of went away. And I just got to thinking, the technology has come so far that there's no reason that there aren't more guys doing it. And of course, there's some great companies out there. But we thought there was certainly plenty of room. There's plenty of racetracks and plenty of events that this might be popular at. So we thought it'd be a good time to give it a go.
So so how does setting one of these things up here? We all know iRacing is done over the internet, but how does one of these get interconnected, or do you just do the test session side of things with these? How does one of these things work around for you guys?
Well, there's a couple different ways of going about it. They have a commercial version of iRacing, which allows us to run without internet. The downside of that is you're kind of stuck to an individual race or session. But if we can get internet at the tracks, a lot of times I just use my cell phone, and then we can just go into a regular hosted session and we'll just run all three together.
Nice.
That's awesome. Hey, real quick.
Too.
Oh, go ahead, Drake. Sorry. No,
Sparky.
go ahead. Go first.
But Canadian game of politeness here. But anyway, Brian, obviously you have the trailer and everything. Can somebody, you in contact with somebody and maybe build one of these rigs and ship it out to somebody, or do you just do it exclusively in the trailer?
Primarily, we do it just in the trailer. We have had some guys get a hold of us and want us to help them set up some rigs, and we're happy to do that. Certainly, these things are relatively inexpensive for the most part. As sim racing goes, you can get one of these setups, with a nice computer, VR setup. You're looking at maybe $6,000 to $7,000, not near what most of the simulators out there cost. So we have had some interesting guys that can afford that and would like to have a little help setting those up.
So what does it like? What are normally like your price for this, or is this like just a service you offer for the people? I'm sure is there a fee that people have to pay when they come out here and try these out?
Yeah, we do like $10 for 5 minutes, or depending on the track, we might do by laps. Typically, it's by time, and we work with people. It never fails. You'll have 15 kids that can run 10 times in a row, and you have that one kid out there that's just watching, and we'll just pull him in and let him run. We want our main goal was to let kids get a little better understanding of what racing felt like, and to really energize them, because that really is the future of small local dirt track racing. So that really was the goal, was just to get more people exposed to it and understand throttle control, and iRacing does a great job. Like, that's probably the one thing that people walk away with is a much better understanding of, it's not just push the gas pedal and turn left and try and fishtail through. It takes some skill, and that's probably the biggest takeaway that we see from people.
Speaking of skill, real quick, I have about 2 minutes before I need to hop over into the lobby and wrangle these drivers into drivers meeting.
Sure.
But real quick tonight, I want some predictions. Brian, I'll start with you.
I tell you, so this looks like it's probably Shell's track, right? So I think he's going to be up there. Of course, we want to see Alex do well. We sponsor him. Is Cardwell running tonight?
Really, my internet like to take a there. So, anyway, before we let you go, Brian, tell us a little bit about the whole thing, and how can they get the simulator their tracks?
Really just through Facebook, the B&B simulators. Just check us out there, and we'll pretty much go fairly regional. Like I said, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois. We've hit Cedar Lake, Davenport. We've been to Knoxville, so pretty much anywhere in that neighborhood we'll travel, and we do private parties, and we're doing a few race parties coming up this winter, so we'll be around.
Well, Brian, thank you so much, sir, for coming on here, and thank you for sponsoring the Apex Autoglass N10 410 Sprint Car Championship presented by B&B Dirt Race Simulators. Thanks a lot for all your support of racing, and have fun this year, and hopefully you enjoy the race tonight, and hopefully you have a successful year this year, man.
All right, man. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
You got it. There he goes, Brian Bellett of B&B Dirt Racing Simulator. I tell you what, these simulator things they're cool. Like they're very unique. They're very they're different. Like you get inside them, as Josh said earlier, it's not a Thrustmaster T150 you're in. No, you're in your in your office in your parents' house somewhere. You're in an actual, like, almost a chassis. Some of these have the rigs and that set up in a chassis with direct drive wheel and all this stuff. So it's legit stuff in there, Drake.
We got the chance to run not the B&B deal, but something very similar to it a few times, and yeah, they're the real ticket. And B&B, obviously, like you saw there from some of the pictures and you heard from Brian there, put together a quality product. So if you're around Iowa, and as he said, they head up to Wisconsin every now and then, definitely shout, or if you see them at the racetrack, hop on in and take a few laps on the rig.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll jump down into broadcast there. So we'll give us 1 second here, folks. We're gonna get into back into our room down here. So hang on 1 second. All right, there we go. Now we are back here. So, as you're looking live at the Fairbury American Legion Speedway here, and Drake, we got our preview of here tonight. And now you may be wondering why we're running this in a day, and we were talking a little bit about this off the air. And Fairbury on the sim here, at nighttime, it is very, very difficult to see where the line is, and that's very contradiction what is at night in real life, where you can actually see where the track forms, where the slick is, where the rubber's taken down. You can see all that stuff. On the sim, it is very, very difficult to find that here at night. So we're running underneath the daytime temperatures, and that's why, if you heard Josh in our previous show say, is that we're going to be having the water truck out here. They're definitely going to do a full track reset, a full track rework before the feature tonight. And it's almost going to have to. But Fairbury itself, what a racetrack it is. A very tight quarter-mile bull ring, but is known for some of the best late model racing in the country. And the sprint cars have been making their name there the last couple years with appearances by the World Outlaws. The Drink Sprint Car Series, the Flow Racing All-Star Circuit of Champions. I think the only thing we really need there yet, the war sprints. They probably go there in the Midwest. I would love to see a USAC national race here, but if there's just something about Fairbury that it's so special, and it's making it to a bucket list track for almost everybody.
Exactly, and I share your sentiment with the USAC thing you said there. Somebody who plans on going up and down the road to every race this year with USAC, I would love to go to Fairbury. It just looks like a blast. Back when iRacing really exploded during COVID, USAC sanctioned a race here on iRacing, and they threw in drivers, who run USAC, obviously, but then you had a lot of wing guys. I remember Tanner Holmes from Western California, hopped in a midget and ran the USAC race, and it was a really good race, really entertaining. So I'm not opposed to the idea at all going to Fairbury. It's just a racy track, and some of the late model newbies like myself really, latched on to Fairbury. I watched the Prairie Dirt Classic. I am, a Kyle Larson follower, I guess you'd say. I like watching and seeing, what he's doing, like everybody else really does, because it's just so fascinating. But anyway, my point is, I got to really experience Fairbury on TV with the late models during the Dirt Classic, and it was probably one of the best races I've seen, with late models, being such a newbie fan. And obviously, like you said, Bert, sprint cars here just put on a crazy show. I'm pretty sure you and I can go out there on tricycles and put on a good show. That's just how good this racetrack is.
Well, I don't know about that. That's saying a lot for you and I to put on a good show, but we'll try our best. If we had tricycles, we probably could do that. Actually, that might be a challenge if we ever get out to Fairbury. I'm going to have to try that. So, our producer Joe just asked about the wheel. You may see it here as they are scrolling through here. I believe that's how they do their redraw. And if I'm right, that might be for the Prairie Dirt Classic that's out there during August, I believe it is. So I think that's how they do the redraw or something like that. I'm not quite sure how it goes, but I believe that's how they maybe they do the invert, something like that. I'm just throwing it out there, but that's what I believe it's for. So if you see that as you go scroll through here, but it's a very interesting track. And, I think the one thing we have to look at too is what's the line going to be? Are we going to be on the bottom, or is it going to be a train around the top? Now, last week I found out in the 360 series, the official series on iRacing, is that it can be a little bit around, it can be a train around the top where you just kind of follow the leader. You got to stay up there. There's just way too much momentum to be lost if you go down and try the bottom. Even the middle wasn't as good as what the top side was. Or are we going to have a 3-lane wide Fairbury tonight? That remains to be seen. We'll see what the track crew has given us here tonight. But I think either way, we're in for a lot of good racing. And I would not be surprised if we had a little bit of drama out here tonight.
No, that's what we sometimes show up for. That's one of the big draws of these drivers, these cars, and this series. But Bert, like you talked about earlier, we are racing in the day. That's going to do a few different things to the racetrack. At night, obviously, you don't have the hot sun baking down, and what we've been doing recently with the Apex series is we run the heat races at night. We run practice at night. We run the lower mains at night. We run the feature at night. We, so far in the last few weeks, have not ran during the day. And obviously, with the day comes the sun as cars now hit the racetrack, but the sun's going to bake down the racetrack, and you think of kind of evaporation is the best way I can say it. It's just going to really dry out the racetrack. I'm not sure exactly the temperature that the race control has it set at right now, but obviously hardly a few clouds in the sky, and that's going to open it up to a lot of sunshine. You're going to see the track get slick during the day. Just watch any Silver Crown race or sprint car race during the day. The track's going to get slicker a lot faster, and I think that's going to make it more technical around the fence. And if somebody's going to go around the bottom maybe later in the night per se, kind of like you're seeing right here, might kind of have to be a putt-putt session around the bottom, but that's just one of the challenges the day brings. And I remember Kokomo this year during the SmackDown on night 2 with the USAC National Sprint Cars. Whole rework of that racetrack, once again, blazing hot, middle of the day, August. And by, lap 15, it was a totally different racetrack. And I think even with the track rework before the feature event, we could see that, but it's going to be interesting to see how things change through the heat race with the track conditions.
Yeah, I agree, and also you got to realize too with this series here is that yes, we may be on a sim or a simulator, but it does affect it. You got to have your car set up to be able to run in the daylight. You got to be able to have it now to work through when it slicks off. It's obviously going to slick off a lot quicker while we're in the daytime. We saw it at Eldora when we had the race in the daylight there at the start back in December. So, it does play havoc on these guys. So it's who's able to set their car up the best and what line is going to be able to take around here. And Drake, you're exactly right here. I think we're going to see a very different track as you can start seeing that black line start making its way around the top there. That's where I think a lot of guys are going to be at, I think, at the start of this race. But do they try the bottom, as you say? I think it's going to be very, very fun to watch and see how this plays out and how this pans out throughout the night as we have practice going on right now. Try and work the track out. Is this your first time joining us? Thank you very much for joining us here on OSRN. My name is Bert Wojcik alongside Drake York. Joe White, a producer for OSRN, is here in the broadcast booth with us here tonight as well, doing his magic. And we are here at the Fairbury American Legion Speedway. Get ready for another round of the Apex Autoglass and Tinning 410 Sprint Car Championships and a B&B Race Simulator. So, Drake, who are the guys we're going to have to watch out for tonight? And obviously, we're going to have to throw out Tyler Lachelle and Alex Bergeron. But who else can we look out there for tonight?
I mean, I don't know. It's so tough to pick. I think Cardwell last week, just because of the calmness and the smoothness we saw him running the fence at Cedar Lake, I feel like you're going to be eating some of that same talent, that same skill set that it takes to run the fence and be consistent. Don't trip over that cushion. And, I don't really know if it's going to build up tonight. I feel like once we get to the top side of the racetrack, to the fence, I feel like it might just be dust. It might just blow off. It might be kind of crumbly like you kind of see right now on the top side of turns 1 and 2. So I feel like, that trait's going to serve a lot of people well tonight. It's just totally up to circumstances, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Cardwell back in victory lane tonight.
No, I would not be surprised. Hayden Carwell or somebody like Blake Majulis, he ran very good at Knoxville. And this is really one of the first bull rings we've had on the season since we've taken over here. As speak of the devil, there is Blake Majulis, and also Tyler Shell. He's out on the speedway for qualifying 2 laps tonight. Set quick time for you. You'll start on the pole of your heat race, and then we'll go on back from that. So quick time will be on the pole of heat race number 1. Second quickest will be on pole of heat race number 2, and so on and so forth. As so far, Greg LeMay Jr., he's at fast at 10.18 seconds. And right now, 10.8, 10.2 seem to be the place to be. And Tyler Shell, 10.17.
Shell gets knocked off the top. Edens to the top, a 10.04 for James Edens. Then it's Rumsey, Yeager, Shell. Still a lot of moving and shaking. Mason Hannigan bolts up to 4th at 10.17 for Little Hurricane. Shell down to 5th. Sherman 6th. LeMay 7th. 8th right now, Burline. Howlett 9th, and 10th is Cardoza.
So we'll see if James Eaton can hold on. Only one to break the 10.0 barrier, so we'll see if anyone else has anything for it. Blake Majulis, he moves up in the 8th spot, 10.18 for Blake Majulis. As we scroll on through here, Evan Say also on the speedway, he goes at 10.19. That'll put him 9th fastest right now. As we take a look through here, we are looking live at Blaine Brink. First time, I believe, seeing Blaine on the Apex Autoglass N10 410 Sprint Car Championship so far. Alex Bergeron, there he is. He goes out 10th quick as 10.19 for Alex Bergeron. And I believe that will be most of the cars taking time. We do have 29 cars signed in tonight.
We'd just like to point out, a 10th separates the top two right now between Edens and Rumsey. A 10.04, Rumsey at a 10.14.
That's a big gap though. Here around here at Fairbury, that's a big gap to have a 10th, and then all of a sudden it just goes right back to just less than a thousandth of a second then back behind him. So it's very, very tight. But I believe right now it looks like James Eden, he's going to be your pole sitter here tonight, or saying quick time.
Also 6th through 8th, that's Sherman, LeMay, and Majulis, all with the same lap time.
And then you look there through that 2nd through 10th spot there, they're all within 5/10 of each other. So it's right there. This is a very tight field, but James Eden was the only one to break the 10.0 barrier. He goes into 10.04. He will be your fast qualifier here tonight at the Fairbury American Legion Speedway as we get ready for heat race number 1 coming up on the pole here. As there's your lineup on the screen where James Eden will be on the pole, followed by, there it is, Tyler Shelby on the outside of him. Evan Say will kick off row number 2. Landon Cardoza in row number 2, starting 4th. Let me see here. 1 second. Let me get the timing up here. That'll help out a little bit better. Tyler Dushman, he'll roll off in the 5th spot. Gunnar Harris in the 6th spot. Randy Shreves roll off in the 8th spot. And in the 7th spot will be Trey Garce. Rolling off in the 7th spot there. Yeah, it just got a little squirrely on me here. I'm trying to do 2 things at once. You have this running here, you have the Chili Bowl running. I am just absolutely being my internet provider's best friend here tonight. But I think we're all good. Yes, thank you. I think we're all doing really good, Joe. Thank you so much for all your help here as we get ready for heat race number 1. So Eden's on the pole here with Tyler Shell, obviously going to be the one to watch. He's your current points leader right now with the Apex Autoglass 410 Sprint Car Championship. And you know, I think you got to watch here. Evan Say, he had a good run at Knoxville a couple weeks ago, picked up the win. So, you know, this first heat's kind of stacked right now, Drake.
Well, not to mention Tyler Schill has won 2 out of 3 races contested here with the Apex Series, so he's going to be tough. James Eden's former World of Outlaws iRacing winner this season, so that front row alone is good. And then you talk about Cardoza back behind, as well as the rest of the field. So it's going to be tough top to bottom, no doubt about it. And we're going to see how much the track changes right here. That's going to be our, I guess you'd say, benchmark for the rest of the night to see how the racetrack goes. Still really green right now as we're coming down to green for heat race number 1 on the evening.
Dylan Edens bring him down to green. Remember, no cautions in the heat race as we go green here at Fairbury, heat race number 1. And James Eden is going away to hide right away as the field rips the top side to complete lap number 1. It's going to be James Eden.
The track's still really fresh after that rework, and you talked about it, Bert. We could see a train around the top to start off the evening. Really close between the field as Gunnar Harris, you see back there in car 54, that all blue almost race car with a little lighter shade in the 54 right now being pressured, and he gets a wheel and he's up into the fence in turn 4.
Gunnar Harris goes around. I believe that might have been Evan Say got into him, or Dushmore in there. He got around into him. So Gunnar Harris, he's going to have a little bit of work to do right now. Evan Say holding on into that 4th spot. Right now, James Eden, he's out to almost a 2nd lead right now on Tyler Sheldon. It's Landon Cardoza and Evan Say. That'll round out your top 4 right now with 5 laps to go.
All right now, once again, top 5 go to the feature. It's Eden Shell, Cardozo C, and Duchme. Here you see him back there in that pink 25 final transfer on the speedway, and he's got a healthy gap over the rest of the field. So right now it's kind of, do you want to go for that 4th and final transfer spot because you have that big gap? Oh, and big wreck right in front of him. C is involved as well as Cardozo, I believe that was. Once again, no yellow, so we're going to stay green.
So Evan Say will drop back to that 5th and final transfer spot. So we'll see here Dushorm. He's going to try and go down, hold off that run by Gars, and now they make contact. Oh boy, this has been a demolition derby of a heat race. Meanwhile, James Eden goes out. He will win heat race number 1 over Tyler Shell. Then it will be Trey Gers and then Tyler Ducharme. And then Evan Say will make up in the 5th spot here, but we're going to have to wait and see what the officials say as, oh, Say gets ran over a little bit there at the end, but wow, what a wild heat race there, as it just seemed like that James Eden just went out and hid from everybody there. As there's your results here. We'll try and get James Eden or as soon as he gets his helmets off, he'll get a awarding with Drake York. But absolutely insane heat race number 1. That's a sign for the rest of the night. Who knows what we are in store for. So Logan Rumsey and Justin Sherman, they'll make up row number 1. Alex Bergeron, Tim Smith will make up row number 2. John Helms, Adam Elby, Liam Garrison, and David Hale will make up the 4th and final row. And Drake, as we are waiting for James Eden to come down into victory lane to have a word with you here if we get him on here tonight. Yeah, that was a bit wild at the end.
Yeah, that was crazy. Not very often with this caliber of drivers you really see them take out each other in transfer spots like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Very slice and dice kind of racing here for those guys. As you take a look through the field here, and there's one of the guys that made a name for himself out at the Tulsa Shootout, Logan Rumsey. We'll see what he can do here tonight. And then, of course, right behind him will be Alex Bergeron, who, of course, a big rivalry between him and Tyler Shell has been fantastic this entire season. We'll have to see if he can make something happen tonight. See if he can't kind of close in on Tyler Shell. Shell, kind of stayed away from all that action in that heat race. And that first heat race, as heat race number 2 gets bunched up, we're a green flag off of turn number 4.
Start for the front row. There's Bergeron. First car really down low in these heat races. He might pick off 2nd. Nope, Sherman's going to drive back around into 3. Off turn number 4, Bergeron remains down the bottom in 3rd, and he's got something working. It's going to be tough to go up against the momentum of the cars up on the top side, but Bergeron going against him. Rumsey drops down to the bottom. They're almost 3 wide off of 4. Sherman in the fence, but he's going to take the lead into 1.
Oh, Justin Sherman trying to get around Logan Rumsey. He will do so. Now Bergeron almost slides up the top side, Rumsey, contact! Bergeron, hang on to it! Bergeron hangs on to it. So he's going to fall back. He was scored 50. I think he's going to be just on the outside looking in. Meanwhile, that'll move up Tim Smith. So now Sherman holds on Rumsey and Smith. That's David Howman. He's up in the 4th spot. Bergeron is scored in the 5th spot right now. So currently he's on looking in right now.
And with no yellows, that really cost him. He slid through the infield, Sammy Swindell style, if you remember that from the Chili Bowl quite a few years ago. But on board with Timothy Smith, he bangs the fence. He's up into it. A tricky line as he's still in it. He's going to lose a spot off of turn number 2. And he's still going to remain to a transfer spot, but that's what we were talking about earlier. It's going to be hard to run the fence, and it's starting to get dry. It's getting crumbly up there. It's starting to get slick, too. You're starting to see that blue groove, too, on the entrance of the corners. That means the track's slick. It's almost like driving on ice right there. You start to lose grip on corner entry, but you can kind of see the dirt getting lighter, too. That means that obviously it's getting a little bit drier, not as much grip up there as we're working the white flag lap.
White flag is out for Justin Sherman in an eventful heat race number 2. Rumsey's going to try a big slider for the win. Oh, he puts him in the wall. Logan Rumsey will win the heat race. Oh, we're going to have to see what the officials say on that. So Logan Rumsey is credit with the win right now. David Heilman in the 2nd spot. Then it'll be Justin Sherman, Tim Smith, and Alex Bergeron rounds out your top 5. But What are they going to say about that? That was a last-minute haymaker slide job, and Rumsey was not letting off, and neither was... wow. Whew, that was a good one. Epic finish for heat race number 2. And we're going to send on down. James Eaton is now available, and Drake York, let's ask him about heat race number 1, where he kind of just ran away and hide.
Well, Bert, you summed it up very well there. James started up front, led the entire race, but what I really want to know, running the daytime, we haven't done that a lot this year, and you went out on a green racetrack to start that first heat race. How did the track change throughout your heat race?
You know, we were running around the very wall there to start. It seemed like halfway through it got a really big slick spot. So, you know, the second half of the race, I kind of moved down a lane and, you know, just kind of survive and stay out of the wall. And, you know, it's going to be the name of the game here.
As James Eaton's your heat race number 1 winner.
All right, thank you very much, Drake York, as we are still waiting for official word to see if Logan Rumsey is your winner. Meanwhile, Dylan Yeager, Greg LeMay, they are on your front row here, represented by Aiden Berline, Mason Hannigan, Austin Selman. David Allen's in this race as we are green flag on heat race number 3, and LeMay wasted no time going up to the wall there, as it looks like Berline, he's going to go fall back a few spots, as Yeager will take on the early lead. It looks like that bottom line might be coming in, as Yeager's running at the bottom line pretty well, but LeMay got a great run off of turn number 2.
Looked like when we saw that bottom line work in there with Bergeron about a heat race ago, still a little slimy, but now it's starting to look like that moisture's starting to get run in. It's creating grip down there, and you see LeMay drop down too. Selman a little sideways, he gathers it back in, running the 3rd spot. Allen now looking to pounce on the high side. We're going to see more and more cars come off the top side now as the bottom slowly but surely coming in. Allen again up to the fence. Got a run on Selman down the front stretch.
You're riding on board right now with Austin Selman as he goes, or David Allen, excuse me. David Allen, we're on board with him trying to rip that fence down. It looks like Selman has pulled back a little bit now from LeMay. He's content running that 3rd spot. It looks like the field just went back up to the top side, but you're right, Drake. That bottom line was really starting to come in. You saw Yeager trying to work something out there, but he was just losing a little bit too much time here. He got 4 laps to go as Allen went into the wall. As we take a look at Yeager, he's going to go back to the bottom off of turn number 4, slide all the way up to the fence, and he'll get 3 laps to go.
Dylan Yeager, whoa, car upside down right in front of him. Guys are upside down, obviously with no yellow, we stay green, and that allows LeMay to close in with now 2 laps to go. And Yeager, hang on, LeMay going to try to mount up one last charge here as they turn for the white flag.
White flag is out this time by. Does LeMay have anything left for Dylan Yeager? Greg LeMay up on the high side. Yeager with a great run off of turn number 2. That should almost just seal the victory. Winner of heat race number 3 will be Dylan Yeager.
Race back to the line between Berline and Allen. They get together, but Berline's going to take away that 4th spot. Allen will be your final transfer.
Boy, we are throwing some elbows here tonight, aren't we, boys? Wow, wow, and wow. Oh, all right then. So, you see Dylan Yeager, Greg LeMay, Austin Selman. Those are your top 3 there, with Aiden Berline also finishing in the 4th spot, and finishing in the 5th spot will be... there it is, David Allen. David Allen finishing out in the 5th spot. So, heat race number 4. We'll go to the post. There's your lineup right there as we will send it right down to Drake York as Dylan Yeager is waiting for his heat race interview.
Thank you very much, Bert. Dylan Yeager looked like he had that race 1 running the bottom down there, and then you see a car upside down in turn 2 with about 2 laps to go. What's run through your mind trying to miss that car and then eventually hold off LeMay at the end?
I thought I was dead. I thought that was it for me. I thought I was going to hit him, but luckily I guess he was still kind of flipping on his screen, so I was able to just phase through him. But I really appreciate Greg there. He didn't have to do that and let me go, but that was a really nice move by him. And, you know, we'll see if this bottom stays in for the future. If it does, I feel like we're going to have a pretty good chance tonight.
Dylan Yeager, your heat race winner. That last heat race, and Bert, he brought up a good point right there to see if the bottom sticks around. It's going to be interesting. You see Mason Hannigan line up on the inside of the front row. Wonder if he's going to elect to go to the bottom here on the start.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. I was just going to say that, Drake, is that he Dylan was really the first one to really try the bottom side, so we'll see if it sticks on there. Maybe Mason Hannigan learned a little bit of something. As green flag is out, Mason Hannigan nearly feels Majoulas a right rear. Majoulas will be the one going down to the bottom side. He'll try and pull the slider on Mason Hannigan, as we got one car going around. It's Joe Howe. He's going to fall away back then on his side. We stay green, of course, in our heat race action, as Blake Majoulas will lead lap number 1.
Yeah, Hannigan was a little surprised to see Mason go to the top in 1 and 2, especially after Yeager got a good start on the bottom that last heat race. Mason's going to bang the boards till he dies. I know that from this kid, but he's going to have to drop down to the bottom here as the top is starting to get a little crumbly. You start to see the loose stuff up there too. So the top definitely losing some momentum, as like I said, the bottom starting to really get ran in. It was really slimy to start off, it appeared, and now that the moisture's ran in, there's a lot of grip on the bottom side of the racetrack. Now you see Hannigan go from banging the boards to almost hitting the tires on entry as Szerzynski into the wall back behind him. He runs in the 4th spot.
Yes, we have Blake Majoulas leading. Here comes David Howlott. He's looking in that 3rd spot. He's been very impressive in this one. Meanwhile, Alex Szerzynski in the 4th spot. Blaine Brink in the 5th spot. We haven't seen Blaine too much this season, so Blaine having a nice start to his night. As we take a look at him right there with 4 laps to go. One car up in the wall there. Looks like that might have been Halot. So we'll see what if he can get around him. He cannot. But Brink actually is Szerzynski. Szerzynski was the one that got in the wall. So Brink, he will get around Szerzynski. He's up in the 4th spot. Szerzynski right now in the 5th and final transfer.
Szerzynski's banged off the fence quite a few times, and Bert, look at how much the racetrack has changed. You can visibly see the groove has moved lower down the speedway, and that top up there, just not as much grip as it did before, as it's now got a bunch of loose stuff up there. So we are on the final lap. Majoulas looks like he'll cruise this one of the wins. Szerzynski trying to hang on to that 5th and final transfer spot over West, and he'll do so off of turn number 4.
So Blake Majoulas picks up heat race number 4 win here tonight over Mason Hannigan, David Howlott, Blaine Brink, and Austin Szerzynski. So a very interesting heat race there, as the track is it's almost a reverse kind of situation here, where the track is moving down, not moving up. It is moving down. You can see the cushion, or all the marbles right up there. They have really kind of changed this entire track right now, as Blake Majoulas picks up the win here. We'll see if we can't get him down here for a quick interview, but a very, very interesting heat race, as we'll see where the track moves to, as I believe we're going to go into our first consolation event of the evening with Trey Gars and David Howlott. They will be on the front row. Aiden Berline, Alex Bergeron, Landon Cardoza. Let's see here. Coulter West, there we go, and Ross Kreiser. So this will be your B main for tonight. And we will get a confirmation on how many cars we are taking out of this. I believe we'll take about, 2 or 3 cars out of this, as we got Blake Majoulas. He's down there with Drake York.
Thank you very much, Bert. Blake Majoulas got up and ran away with that one, but obviously we run a lot at night. We run pretty much everything at night, everywhere we go. Obviously running in the day here at Fairbury. What added challenges does that bring racing in the daytime?
Usually not too much. Usually the track plays out the same as it would at night. You'll probably see the top come in here in the feature a little bit, and then see some shades at the bottom, and looking forward to moving around.
Blake Majoulas, your heat race number 4 winner here at Fairbury American Legion.
All right, thank you very much, sir. As we are, I believe we are in the D main right now, which I think is kind of weird that we're having Alex Bergeron in the D main. So apparently we only took either 2 or 3 out of tonight's heat races. So we're learning this as we go along, folks. So your D main looks like this as the field comes down here. Off of turn number 4, green flag is out.
Yeah, what a loaded D main this is. Howlett, and Berline get together and just about wipes out the entire field.
That is Howlett in there. West is in there. Cardoza is in there as well. So Bergeron, he squeezes through all that. He's battling for the race lead already with Trey Garce. Garce up on the high side. Bergeron trying to make that bottom side work. Looking through it on the bottom. Can he make it happen? Yes, he will. Bergeron up into the lead of tonight's consolation event here.
Yeah, Bergeron, we kind of talked about at the top of the show last week at Cedar Lake, got involved in an early race crash, was playing rebound the whole rest of the race, and already back on that tonight is you really seeing the pace slow down. We kind of talked about that earlier too with the added challenges of the daytime. You could either see a racetrack banging the boards or putt-putt around the bottom, and right now we're kind of seeing the putt-putt around the bottom, but no mistake, it's a very skill to master in these Wing 410 sprint cars to get around the bottom like that. You still have Aiden Berline up on the top side of the racetrack trying to make a run at it here with 6 laps to go.
Yeah, he's up in that marble stuff right now, trying to clean some of that up. You look at Coulter West, he pulls a wheelie as he goes up onto the cushion now all the way up. We're going to have to see, maybe some of these guys up on the top might try and push this cushion up and make a second line going. He may have 2 cushions here as we're going to have 4 laps to go this time by, with Alex Bergeron continuing the lead here over Trey Garce, Aiden Berline, and Coulter West, as Kreiser, Cardoza, and Hallott, they are all out of this D main event.
Cardoza, one of those cars involved in the first lap incident as well as Hallett, so that's why they're out. Right here, still watching Aiden Berline. You talked about it, Bert, just trying to work in that top side of the racetrack. It's all marbles up there right now, not a whole lot of grip, and you kind of see it's a little dry up there too for Berline as he slows off at turn 2. Working the white flag lap right now for Alex Bergeron.
Alex Bergeron makes his way off at turn number 4. He will win tonight's D main event here at the Fairbury American Legion Speedway, as the rest of the field makes their way through and around. There will be Bergeron, Trey Garce. They'll be your finisher. It looks like Coulter West, he'll finish in 3rd. Aiden Berline just said to hell with it. We're going to pull off and go in the 4th spot there. So, Ross Kreiser, he'll be credited with the 5th spot. David Halla and Colton West, or excuse me, let me see here, as the field... There you are. Landon Cardoza rounds out your field. There it is. There is the lineup there as we go into the night C main event with Justin Sherman on the pole. Beside him will be Tyler Ducharme. Alongside him will be Blaine Brink, then David Allen, Liam Garrison, Randy Sheaves, and Joe Howe will round out your field in tonight's C main event. So, very interesting D main, where the field was pretty much taken out in the first half of the race. So it was pretty much Bergeron's race to kind of lose there. So as the field moves on here, we'll see what the track does. Again, we're expecting a full rework of this track after tonight's consolation events here, as the field gets lined up here. As you take a look at Justin Sherman, he's up there waiting on a couple more cars to load in here, as we are, believe, just about ready to go underway here. There we go. Field is forming up behind the iRacing Silverado Pace truck, as Drake, it's doing this track is doing some weird things here tonight. It looks like you have some guys that can still rip the top side down, but you can look where that cushion, it's coming down. It's not going up, it is coming down the track.
Yeah, don't really see that a whole lot. You can see grooves move down, but you don't really see a cushion move down the racetrack. But it's going to be interesting. Obviously, that track work's going to throw a different element in the feature event coming up tonight, because in that first race, we did see the top be the dominant line, and as the races go on, obviously you see the racetrack moving down, but a few guys have been able to clean off the top. Berline was ripping off some good ones before he pulled off there in the D main, as we're underway in tonight's C main event.
Good start for Blaine Brink there on that initial start. He'll pull away here as we take a look at Straczynski and Straczynski there. It's going to be David Allen. He'll move up into the 2nd spot there. Ducharme, he's up there as well, as we are trying to make our way through lap number 1. We will do so. Blaine Brink leads that. He'll lead lap number 2 as well.
Yeah, Brink, we saw him ripping off some good laps in his heat race, and there you start to see Allen cleaning off the top side, and he's building some momentum. But you just look at the marbles up on the top side of the racetrack. Can't imagine there's a whole lot of grip, but he's making speed up there as he's pulling away from 3rd.
He's pulling away from 3rd in a big way here, but not too much. Tyler's right there on the bottom side if we are on board with David Allen top of the wing there, but Blaine Brink, he's run that bottom side very, very well through the bottom right now, but we'll see. Is that going to be the dominant line to make his way in through this? Might be, because he pulled out to almost a second lead right now over David Allen, or half a second lead, over David Allen, and Ducharme is in the third spot right now, as we believe we're taking our top 2 out of this. So this is your battle for your transfer spot right now. As you start seeing that top side, it's starting to clean out there, Drake.
Yeah, you really saw it when we were riding on board there with Alan. The top side is cleaning off, and you're starting to see that slick roof. Now, you obviously don't want it to be slick, but it's a lot better than marbles, and you can visibly see that lane clearing up, especially off of turn number 2. Really starting to see it off of 4 now, so the top is coming back, and the bottom maybe slowing down as Brink holding that steady advantage of about over a half a second now, over 0.6 of a second. But I'll tell you what, Alan's really found some momentum up there, and he is banging down the boards. It's like you said, look at how clean the top side of turns 1 and 2 is now. It's about back to racing paces. Now you're in the cockpit with David Allen, and watch when he comes off of 2 right here. It's very cleaned off.
2 laps to go. It's going to be the white flag lap this time by for Blaine Brink. What does David Allen have for him here in tonight's C main event? He's going to go up on the high side. That cushion is there. That top side there. Oh, big run for David Allen off at turn number 4. Who's it going to be? David Allen wins tonight's C main with a last lap pass over Blaine Brink. He worked that top side to perfection and cleaned it off himself. And what a run for David Allen to go out and win the C main event.
I don't think I saw too many other people running the top side of the racetrack, and boy, you could just see the difference that 01 car made on the top side of the racetrack. Simply amazing what he's able to do up there all by himself.
Absolutely. So now tonight's B main event will be Austin Selman, Tim Smith, Evan C will be in there alongside Alex Szerzynski. There we go. I'm losing myself here tonight here. Jordan Mathers, he's also in this. Adam Elby, Gunnar Harris, and John Helms Jr. round out your field here tonight. So we'll probably take another 2 out of this, and that will set your field for tonight's, I believe, we're going to... Yes, we're going to go to, I believe, though, are we going 50 laps tonight, or are we going 40 laps tonight? We'll find out for you. We'll have our great producer, Joe White. Really? So we're getting word from our producer, Joe White, and he's going to look into this. Apparently, Aiden Berline might have had a connection issue, or else he got kicked from the race. So we'll have to wait and see what, as we get some word coming down into here. But that's kind of a turn of events here. So what does the top side hold here, Drake York? Are we going to see maybe somebody like Selman, kind of loving this, where the top line is going to be the dominant all the way around here? Tim Smith, I should say. Tim Smith, is he going to like this a lot, or can Selman get a good enough start to pull away from the rest of the field here and him and Smith maybe trying to make their way out of the pack here?
I don't know. It's going to be tough. A lot of good cars here in this B main event as we are underway. Cars wrecking down the front straightaway into turn number 1 as we turn to the green. Adam Elby, one of the cars in the Bear Archery 74.
Adam Elby, he's one of those in there. So we're taking the top 3 out of this. So right now it is going to be Tim Smith, Austin Selman. Looks like Alex Szerzynski will be in there, but Evan Say, he's in this as well. So your winner from a couple weeks ago at Knoxville is going to have to try and make his way through the field here. He will take that third and final transfer spot away from Alex Szerzynski.
Yeah, those 2 working the bottom side of the racetrack right now. Here is Szerzynski all the way up to the top side, trying to work that clean off groove, but see right now, looks like he's got his car rotating very well around the bottom side of the racetrack, but Szerzynski throwing caution to the wind as he rides the rail into turn number 1, and he's upside down in a big way, and that's going to end his night.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to end his night. That's going to move up Adam Elby, but it's going to take a big mistake from Evan C. to get around, or to be able for Elby to catch up to Say. Is right now battle for lead here between Tim Smith and Austin Selman. Smith up on the high side, ripping that cushion down, as we have Selman on the bottom trying to make it happen. The bottom's there, but that top side, I think they might have just cleaned it off a little bit too good here, Drake, with 5 laps to go.
Selman, we talked about his car rotating pretty well. It almost looks like through the center a little bit. It starts to rotate a little too much. He does get a little bit of a drive off the bottom of the corner, but you also got to look at the momentum Smith has been able to carry. And you look at Smith and you look at some of the previous races too, even when the top's the dominant line, to pass somebody that's running the bottom in front of you it might take a few laps just to generate momentum. He's running about a lane lower than Selman at both ends of the speedway, and he's making some hay down there.
He is, and right now these are the only 3 cars on the racetrack, and they're all in your camera view there. So it's Tim Smith, Austin Selman, and Evan C. trying to make it happen. Not going to make it work on the bottom side there, but he's down on the Uke tires trying to make it stick on the bottom. There's just a little bit more grip as checker flag comes out. It's going to be Tim Smith, and at the line, Austin Selman barely holds off Evan Say for the second spot. So, as you take a look at your finishing order for tonight's B main event, the track rework will take place. And we're going to take a quick commercial break, get resituated here, and get ready for tonight's Fairbury American Legion Speedway feature event with the Apex Autoglass and Tinting 410 Sprint Car Championship presented by B&B Race Simulators. We'll be right back after this, folks. And welcome back, everybody, here watching on OSRN to the Apex Autoglass and Tin 410 Sprint Car Championship presented by B&B Dirt Racing Simulators. My name is Bert Wojcik. Alongside me in the booth here tonight is the great Drake York, and our producer Joe White from OSRN will be helping us out here tonight as well, doing a fantastic job producing this show as well. As you see right now, they are doing the final rework here of the track. Now, for some of you that may be new to watching this here, what they are doing right now is basically, when we do a rework, the track goes completely green. So this is kind of help blow the track off a little bit and try and get it set up. Now, they had it set for a 7-minute clock, but as you see, we only used about 4 minutes of that as your field is getting ready to set up here for tonight's 40-lap main event. And Drake York, I will let you read the lineup off tonight, buddy.
Let's see if I can make out the lineup, Bert. I might need your help somewhere along the way here. We're going to have James Edens on the inside of the front row in car 52. He's put together a really solid night heat race winner in fast time. And Rumsey, too, is outside. Going to be one of the contenders here in tonight's feature event.
All right, rolling off in the 4 spot here tonight. That will be Blake Majulis. He'll be rolling off in spot number 4. Alongside of him will be Tyler Shelby in the 5th spot. Justin Sherman in the 6th spot. David Hallman in the 7th spot. Greg LeMay rolling off in the 8th spot.
Alex Bergeron will roll off from the inside of row number 5, car number 12.
So that'll be interesting to watch there as you look back through here. Tim Smith and Trey Gars, they're rolling off in row number 6 as Blaine Brink and Austin Sullivan rolling off in row number 7. Coulter West and Tyler Ducharme and Evan Say rolling off in the 17th and final starting spot here tonight. 17 cars make tonight's feature event for 40 laps around the Fairbury American Legion Speedway, and this is going to be a great one, I think, here tonight, Drake.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that front row alone, Edens and Rumsney. It's going to be a show between those two, and we were watching. You and I kind of commented before they ended the warm-up. Back already pretty wide, starting to get a little slick as we're ready to go for 40 laps.
And green flag is out. Logan Rumsey goes on the bottom there, but it's going to be James Eaton taking the early lead as they go into turns 1 and 2 as the field kind of spreads himself out here. Bottom, top, middle. Where do you want to race at right now? As it looks like it's going to be James Eaton leading lap number 1.
Eden's with a good start. Here's Yeager on the bottom. He's looking for the lead. Might get second. No, Rumsey drives around him. Lots of lines, as you said, Burt Rumsey trying to get a big run off the top side. He's going to clear Yeager into 1. Rumsey now goes to the boards. Eden's trying to split the middle, going through the marbles and find some grip as we have our first yellow of the evening.
First yellow of the evening out 3 laps in. David Allen is involved. I believe that was the one on his side. As we'll take a look at the replay there. Bergeron right in front of Allen. And, yep, he just ran that a little bit too high. Looks like Coulthard got in the back of him there. 2 cars upside down. Trey Gers involved in that as well. So first caution of the night, and it was getting a little bit too high there, Drake. And I got a feeling that's not going to be the last time we call that kind of caution here tonight.
We talked about it at the very top of the show. It's going to take somebody with a lot of skill to run the fence around here, especially when the track conditions get like this. But already, as we talked about under green flag, track is pretty much wide as it's going to get. It's got a line down the bottom, through the middle, up on the fence, wherever you want to go, as we're going to go back to green flag racing off of turn number 4.
So James Eden takes the lead away from Logan Rumsey as they go into turns 1 and 2. Rumsey is going to go up on the high side here. Majulis and, him and Yeager almost made that 4 wide coming off of turn number 2. Majulis will take over the 3rd spot. Here comes Mason Hannigan. Rumsey get a great run going into turns 1 and 2. He'll look on the bottom, try and slide jobs. Edens, he's going to take it for a second, but Edens going to turn it right back on him.
Edens clears him off of 4. Rumsey is there. Edens goes all the way up to the top side, leaving the bottom open. As down on the bottom, there's Majulis. Edens now shuts the door, slides from the U tires up to the fence off of 4. He's going to hang on to the lead.
Oh, we're throwing haymakers left and right here tonight at Fairbury, and it's getting foulsy in here right now. As you take a look, Eden's holding on that lead. Here comes Rumsey. He's getting another run on. Oh, with a gaggle of car. You have almost your top 10 cars battling for the lead here with 8 laps in the books.
Poor with Mason Hannigan. He's the bang of boards kid till he dies. Up on the top side. He's in a 3rd on the podium, trying to come after Rumsey.
Mason Hannigan, hold on, 3rd spot. He's taking a look from the top of the wing. As look back on this now. Caution flag is out. Oh boy, that could have been using a James Essex. Please stay green. And if I'm hearing right, could that be Tyler? Yeah, this might be for Tyler Schell. And Alex Bergeron, he was underneath him. He pulls the slider. Oh, Schell gets in the fence a little bit. And then just get caught up.
LeMay.
Yeah, Greg LeMay gets into him as well. So Tyler Schell on his side trying to get it upright. And he will get it upright. So he doesn't have to get the tow and he will not lose a lap. So he might go in and use his quick repair just kind of fix the car up a little bit because I'm sure that's probably knocked it right out of square.
And no question about that. Some toppling damage on there, and that quick repair is going to get him in and out really fast to the work area. And talked about Bergeron with his early incident in the race at Cedar Lake last week, having to charge back through the field, eventually scratch and claw his way back inside the top 5, and eventually beat Schell and gain some points on him. So now this is one of Tyler Schell's could be defining moments if he does end up with the championship this year. If he can come back from this, we're 10 laps in, 30 laps to go here at Fairbury.
And I'm looking at the pylon here right now. It looks like Evan Say, your hard charger right now, +9 right now for Evan Say as we get ready. We're going to go back to green next time around. So it's going to be James Eden and Logan Rumsey on your front row. Then Mason Hannigan, Blake Majulis. That'll make up your first 2 rows there. Then I believe that will be David Heilman and then Greg LeMay. Is that LeMay? No, that is not LeMay. That would be right beside him. That'd be, let's see here. Yeah, that'd be Dylan Yeager. Dylan Yeager's fell back. We're back to green. And, oh, that was Yeager. Announces Kurtz just got him.
Yeager involved, as you said. And let's take a look at the replay here. Yeager, that white and orange car. Oh, gets squeezed, spins.
I believe that's Evan Say. Evan Say's involved in that one, so that's going to knock him right out of that hard charger spot. So, announces Curtis working very well on that one tonight, Drake. Tim Smith also involved in that.
It's interesting to see the lines on the restart there. Bert saw, I mean, we talked about it many times now, but we saw everybody go everywhere, and Hannigan actually had a good look for the lead off of turn 2. Maybe would have had a shot in a 3 and 4, but we'll see. And Tyler Schell, meanwhile, back up to the 11th spot. Jerome looks like he'll line up in the 6th spot as we come back to green.
We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing here. As right now, your hard charger and Tyler Duchamp are coming up for from the 9th spot. We're going to go green next time around. So your field's going to get reset here. David Heilman will be up there in that 5th spot there. He's having a nice little run here tonight, Drake.
A nice run, but a quiet run, and sometimes not always what you want, but sometimes it's what you need, and a very good run for him tonight, no question about it.
Absolutely, as we will get ready. Maybe next time around, we're going to go green.
Race control adding on a few laps, not sure if they're trying to get something in the lineup situated or something else, but we will add another lap just as I say that Silverado pace truck heads to the infield.
Oh, we're learning on the fly here, folks. So, back to green right now. Eden's great start on Rumsey. Rumsey going to go all the way up to the cushion. He's going to bang it off the boards. Hold on to it, Logan. He will do so. He's going to come down in front of Blake Majulis and Mason Hannigan, but yellow flag is out.
Just as things were getting good on the restart, how in the world did Logan Rumsey come off of in the fence, NASCAR heat style as we take a look at the replay here? So Steve Smith, the car there, that purple, white, and black machine going upside down, and he got ping-pong down the front stretch. But as I said, Logan Rumsey, NASCAR heat style in the fence in turns 1 and 2. Someway somehow still had a major run off the corner and cleared Eden's just before that yellow came out. Fortunately, go back to the last reverted lap, so that will put him back in 2nd behind Eden's.
That's the beautiful thing about Fairbury, is that anything and everything can happen here. Even the weirdest type of stuff can happen. So we'll have to see now. With that being said, we may go single file on this restart. I would not be surprised if they do call a single file restart here, because we've been having trouble getting going here. We had the first couple laps with some great racing. We are going single files. The iRacing Silverado pace truck pulls in. James Eden leading Logan Rumsey, Mason Hannigan, Blake Majulis, Alex Bergeron up in the 5th, back to green.
And we're going to see how this single file restart changes things. Top 3 head to the fence. Haven't seen that all race long. As they head down into 3, Eden's through the middle. Rumsey just a lane higher up on the fence as Majulis challenges Hannigan. Meanwhile, Rumsey takes a shot at Eden's for the lead.
Rumsey looking on the high side of Eden's. Eden's holding off on that bottom side. He'll go up all the way up to the cushion again. James Eden holds on. Here we go. Top 5 starting to break away. Actually making your top 6. Rumsey again to the wall. Mason Hannigan, him and him. They touch a little bit. Now Majulis looking underneath of Rumsey. He's going to take the 2nd spot away momentarily. Blake Majulis up at the 2nd.
Now here comes Alex Bergeron running about a lane off from the fence. Took a look on the inside of Rumsey. Past Hannigan. Meanwhile, you look farther back, Hannigan starting to slip through the field. Bergeron had another look through the middle side of the racetrack right there. Hellman out of the inside in that white 49. Bergeron going to drive around, and Majulis right there, the only car of this lead pack running the bottom.
Blake Majulis now, he might have lost a lot of momentum because now Rumsey and also Bergeron, they'll slide around him. Hellman now, he's going to get around him as well. Majulis, oh, that thing is slow on the bottom. Wow, he is losing a lot of time on the bottom, but he's maybe hoping for a late race yellow as Rumsey and Bergeron, they're sliding each other for second.
While this great racing for the second spot is going on, your race leader James Edens is driving away from the field in car 52, the biggest lead anybody's had in the feature all night. Remember, fast time, won his heat race, and now leading the feature event, going for the clean sweep as he is up on the fence, large and in charge with 20 to go.
Cross flags is out for James Edens as we take a look again. Back at Alex Bergeron in the third spot there. Rumsey starting to pull away from him, trying to close in on Eden. Rumsey's going to try and run that middle to bottom groove now, as we'll see if he can't close in. Heilman now, he'll try and get around Majulis. Majulis is sticking that bomb as yellow flag is out. And Tyler Schell is going to be the reason for this yellow here as we take a look. That's what we're hearing in our ear right now is that Tyler Schell, oh, a little bit of contact, and Schell goes up into the fence. Does he get it off the fence? Oh my God, he is keeping that thing forward to the floor to do anything he can to keep it going, but him and Tyler Ducharme get a little bit of contact. So Drake, who does this yellow benefit? Does this benefit Edens, or will it benefit Rumsey, or what about Alex Bergeron?
I think it benefits everybody but Edens. He got in such a rhythm out front, and these yellow flags really can break your stride is the best way to put it, break your rhythm too when you're out front of these races, especially the way Edens has been driving it. It's been hitting his marks every lap so far. It's kind of found the groove he likes the best. Not on the fence, but about say a half a lane off is where that car has really been working good, but this is going to give Rumsey a shot here as we go back to green.
So we're back to green right now as we go through, no, we're going to go yellow. So either we had a wreck on that start or they did not like. Greg LeMay is the one being tagged for that infraction here as we'll see what happens. Yeah, there it is.
Rink into the back of him.
Yep, and LeMay goes over. You can't park there, sir. Oh, no, never mind. Change that. It's almost like, what's his name last night, the Chili Bowl? Yeah, Souza with that amazing 360 flip. Oh my God, that kickflip 360.
The guy that got stuck in the fence.
No, that was on Tuesday night when he got stuck in the fence.
Who was the guy with the 360 last night? That was a
I
good
forget
question.
who that was, but that was amazing. He had the top road rowdies going. By the way, for anyone watching Chili Bowl right now, I don't know if you saw the tractor kind of flat tire.
Oh no, I've been paying attention to Chili Bowl. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, apparently I just got a text my buddy saying, hey, the tractor got a flat tire, so can we give it a you can't park there? Why not? What the hell? So, anyway, James Eden, Logan Rumsey, Alex Bergeron, David Heilman, and Blake Majulis. Here's your top five back to green.
Bergeron's going to get a shot at Rumsey here into 1 and 2, and all of a sudden the top three now trying to roll the bottom, the middle side of the racetrack. Edens now goes back to his regular groove as here comes Heilman. He's up onto the podium now with 16 laps to go. He's in the fence. Here comes Bergeron back to the inside.
You're lucky you're at Fairbury because the fence is a little bit forgiving here, but it can take it right away from you. Heilman will go back up into the high side. He bangs it off the boards again. He's holding off Alex Bergeron. He's got to run. He's cleared Bergeron by about 4 car lengths now, but Bergeron pulls that right back in. Almost an apex on the quarter for Heilman.
Looking just in front of him, Rumsey running a lot lower line than your race leader Edens. He's going to go all the way to the bottom, slides up, and that's going to cost him some time as here comes Heilman. Maybe a 3-car race for the lead here as we come to 12 laps to go this time by.
Maybe a 4-car race for the lead because Bergeron's right there as well. Seems like Rumsey got that car a little bit tight. Meanwhile, Heilman, big run. Rumsey picks up the front end from hitting the tire or hitting the wall. Now, he gets to the Bergeron. Bergeron in the infield. What's it going to be? Is it going to be yellow? Not yet. So Bergeron keeps it going. What are they going to score this as? Bergeron kind of brought it around. Did he cut the track? What? I don't know what you score that as, Drake.
I brought up the Sammy Swindell incident from the Chili Bowl a few years back, and that was almost similar, but we'll get a chance to figure it out here as the yellow comes out.
So Blaine Brink and Greg LeMay again get into this as we are going to try and figure out what we are going to do with Alex Bergeron. That was one of the most wild things I have seen as, looks like LeMay it stopped. It almost kind of looked like what Rumsey did a couple times over that bomb site got a little too tight on him.
Yeah, and that was just kind of one of those racing deals, and you saw Tyler Shell there just in front of that incident, your points leader. Won 2 out of the 3 races contested here, and it's just not been Tyler Shell's night. Had a decent result in his heat race. Put it in the show right out of the heat race, which obviously takes a lot of stress out of his night.
Good question. I don't know if there is any of that. Like here, our producer Joe White just asked, is there like in road racing on iRacing, you cut the course, you have to hold off here, but I don't know if they have. I don't think they have that in ovals. So it sounds like they're going to keep him in 4th because he kept it going. So I mean, no harm, no foul, really, I guess. And then the yellow came out, so I guess we'll see how it goes. I mean, really, where he kind of blended into, where the way he blended in, he kind of went back to where he was at. So I guess no harm, no foul. We're gonna go with it.
Yeah, and like I brought up a few times, total Sammy Swindell move right there, cutting through the infield and keeping it going, and it worked out for Bergeron. As you said, I was a little surprised to see him his spot back, but Bergeron's defense, when he cut through the infield, he actually came back out in 2nd, right behind Edens. He let Rumsey and he let Heilman pass, and then he got on the gas, and then shortly after they had the yellow come out. So the yellow could be a saving grace for Bergeron just for that reason alone, and obviously it'd be tough to pass Edens here on this restart, but I'm interested to see if Rumsey tries to change it up on the restarts. They're going to turn off at turn number 4, back to green. Rumsey with a little bit lower line as they come into turn number 1. Rumsey way down to the bottom. Here's Heilman through the middle.
Heilman's going to make a run on Rumsey as the bottom is a little bit slower. Yes, Heilman up into 2nd now. As Bergeron, he'll get around Rumsey. Heilman up into the fence again. Edens, he's running that middle line. Heilman picks up the front tires as he's going to close in on Edens with 7 laps to go at the line.
Bergeron smells blood in the water, throws a slider for 2nd. There you see Edens blast past. Heilman back to the inside into the 2nd spot.
Bergeron gets a little bit tight off the cushion going off at turn number 4. Back into 1 and 2 again. Heilman up on the high side. Let's take a look there at James Eden. There's Heilman again in the 2nd spot. Bergeron going to try and pull the slider. Not be able to work it off there off at turn number 4. 5 laps to go, or excuse me, 6 laps to go at the line.
Meanwhile, your points leader, Tyler Shell, runs back in 9th, while 2nd in points, Bergeron runs in the 3rd spot. There you see Tyler Shell. He's had quite a bit of problems in this one, to say the least, and running back in 9th, trying to salvage all the points he can get. He's racing for that 9th spot, trying to defend there down the back straightaway.
3 laps to go for James Eden. Now he's taking a look at Logan Rumsey there. Meanwhile, Bergeron going to try and pull a slide job on Heilman. Will it stick this time? He will at the line, but Heilman will pull the slider right back on him. Bergeron was ready for it. Turns it back. Down the back straight. Heilman's into the fence. They're going to trade sliders again. White flag is out. This time by, though, for James Eden.
James Eden's walking the dog out in front of this one. Rumsey's going to cut back to the inside for 3rd. As they work down the backstretch through 3 and 4 for the final time, James Edens will win at the Falls.
James Eden at Falls will win it. Then it's going to be 2nd. Bergeron 3rd will go to Logan Rumsey, barely at the line. It's him and Heilman make contact. What a race here at Falls behind James Eden. But to make this sound polite as it can, James Eden kind of stunk up the show here tonight with a clean sweep. He will pick up a win here tonight at the Fairbury American Legion Speedway. Drake York, what an absolute fantastic feature. James Eden leads most of all this race here tonight as you take a look at your final rundown for tonight. But wow, what a race here.
Edens, as you said, Bert, maybe kind of sort of did stink up the show, but it was still really good front to back, and you got to look at Edens. Once he got out front, he just hit his marks for the rest of the race, and that's what he really had to do.
Absolutely. He'll pick up his first win on the season here with the Apex Autoglass and Team 410 Sprint Car Championship. A fantastic drive for James Eden as we are going to get the crews down there. He'll get out of the car and in the victory lane, and Drake York will have his interview with him as we are waiting through them to go through tech and get weighed out there. As once again, thank you everyone for joining us here tonight. If you guys are heading on out, we will be back next week at the Weedsport Speedway up in Weedsport, New York for another tight fight 3/8 bull ring. As meanwhile, Drake York, he is down with your winner tonight here at Fairbury American Legion Speedway, James Eden.
Well, James, not much more to say about that race, but wow, especially from you. You got out front, really set the pace of this race, and just hit your marks for 40 laps. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, we just, had to hold off Logan there on a couple of the restarts. He was able to get a couple runs and make some moves. But, yeah, we were just kept it out of the wall for 40 laps and brought it home.
Seemed like every restart was absolutely nuts. So especially when you're the leader of the race, how defensive did you have to be? And, you maybe have to second guess yourself at times, like, hey, this guy could be running the top on me or this guy could be running the bottom on me?
For sure. It's kind of tough here to get off of 4 sometimes, especially when you're, stuck starting on the bottom. So you got to, get over that hump a little bit. And, Logan was able to get a run one time and stay on my outside, so I couldn't go to the top. And then, yeah, at that point, you just got to, hopefully you make the right move and, are able to hold that guy off when he makes his move. So,
anybody you'd like to thank for getting you in victory lane tonight here at the Falls?
Yeah, I just got to thank Speed Lab and Slick Sim Sport, K1 Race Gear, Bear Archery, Bell Helmets, and Dominator Designs and Wraps.
It's James Eden's tonight's feature event winner here at the Falls. Alex Bergeron, again, always a factor, but I got to start off, Alex. A great points night for you, especially coming off Cedar Lake where you had to battle through a bunch of adversity, and now tonight, Tyler Shell didn't have the best of runs. You landed on the podium, so going into next week at Weedsport, I'm sure you got to be riding this high wave.
Yeah, we'll do our best, that we can. Just sometimes we're not the luckiest in this series, so, we'll try to do our best for next week again.
And kind of to build off what we talked about with James Eanes on these restarts, it seemed like anybody can go anywhere and anywhere, or I should say anywhere and everywhere they wanted to. So as a driver, instead of Eden's, you're on offense while he was on defense. Did you feel like you could go anywhere you wanted, and did you feel like you could almost make anything work?
Yeah, we were the same too. I mean, we as soon as we got around Alaman there, we were running super fast lap times. That doesn't mean anything, obviously, but, I think Eden's running really well tonight, but we definitely had something for him, and we're just stuck in the middle of the pack there. We have to pass so many cars and make our way through the front. And a track like this is super hard, super tight. You have to be really aggressive on every move you make, so we have to stay clean as well. So, it's tough.
Anybody you'd like to thank for getting you on the podium tonight?
Well, for sure. I got to thank Team EBR Esports, everyone that supports us, and our partners, CSI Shocks, Pitlogic app, and all the other partners that helps us have the NB Racing Simulators, and I know they're sponsoring this league, so really appreciate them for helping this series out, and of course you guys for broadcasting, doing everything you guys are doing, and Apex Racing League for putting this league for us on Thursday nights.
Alex Bergeron, really good points night for him after Tyler Shell struggled. We'll bring in David Hallman. A step of the podium tonight for David, and man, what a race for you. Just coming almost out of nowhere for most of that race, and you're able to start getting into slider battles, but what did you really need to clear for second? Because it seemed like you were probably almost as good, if not better, than Eden's.
Yeah, there's definitely times, it was earlier in the race probably, but where I felt, just as good, if not better than those guys. But car at the end was kind of, I don't think it had anything to do with the contact on that one restart, but car was just kind of, didn't have any balance at the end, and I was kind of just hanging on. But overall, a fun race, especially for Fairbury.
We're banging the fence all the way through turns 1 and 2, not just one time, but it seemed like maybe 4, 5, maybe 6 or 7 times, some crazy number like that. Really notice any difference with the car? Do you think anything got bent after all those hits?
I don't know. Like I said, I think the cushion just kind of it wasn't as big there at the end, and I just had to slow it down or what. But I was getting so tight, and then when I tried to run the middle, it was like I'd half spin. The car would be loose, so I was kind of just hanging on there, battling with Alex and Logan them at the end.
Well, it's David Holloman third on the podium, Bergeron second, and your winner, James Edens, here at the Falls.
Thank you very much, Drake York. We got Falsey tonight. Oh boy, what a race! But James Eden goes out, picks a win up over Bergeron and Heilman, and this is going to change up the points a little bit here with Bergeron finishing in that second spot. Massive points night for him, as we'll see if not updated just yet, so we'll have your points for you next week. But I'm sure it's going to be a nice swing here between him with him getting second, and then looks like Shell's going to be credited with the ninth spot, last car running on the lead lap. So right now that would give him it's going to cut into his lead a little bit here with probably take about 30 points off his lead right now. So it's not quite out of the question yet for Bergeron, but he's going to need a win or two yet to kind of keep this going.
Yeah, and Tyler Shell's rough night was a grace from God, if you will, for Alex Bergeron. Just really fortunate, and that's sometimes you got to win championships. As I said, sometimes the guy you're chasing just has to have one bad night is all it can take, and he's put himself in position to win. There's no question about that. This isn't no late season charge. No, we've seen this many times from Bergeron. He is one of the best in this series, and he proved that tonight. Obviously didn't get the win, but I think just the way he handled himself throughout the entire night really showed his poise. And as we heard Sparky talk about earlier in the show, and at the points is, he's not that far behind coming into this race. And now you factor in that second place finish, Tyler Shell struggling for most of the night. That's going to help him out a ton. So we're just going to have to see how it shakes out heading into Weedsport.
Yes, as we get ready to go to Weedsport next week for the Apex Autoglass and Tinting 410 Sprint Car Championship and my B&B Race Simulators. But once again, we got to talk a little bit about James Eden tonight. I think, a perfect clean sweep for him. He's a fast car all night, no doubt. A 10th up on everyone almost the entire night in every single aspect you could imagine here.
Oh, no question about it. When you go fast time, win your heat in the feature, you've had a perfect night. There's just no other way to put it.
Absolutely not at all. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up here tonight from the Fairbury American Legion Speedway. For everyone here at the Apex Autoglass and Tinting 410 Sprint Car Championship, we thank you so much for joining us here on OSRN. For our producer, Joe White, that is Drake York. My name is Bert Wojcik. We will see you guys next week when we go up to Weedsport, New York for next round of the Apex Autoglass and Tinting 410 Sprint Car Championship presented by B&B Race Simulators. Good night, everybody. Have a great week.